What's going on, y'all? I'm back. Hopefully, my boy Jason will get on, but I don't think he's gonna be on, and that's perfectly fine. Hit him out the other day. Ain't been on 4 days. Cool. Yeah. Oh God, let's talk about it. So I want to talk about depression. The depression. I don't think that really applies to anything. Some possibly be like, am I depressed? No. The answer is no. A lot of stuff just lying. It's the human lying. Now I'm tired of jobs and people lying and then going back and how can I put it this way? Holding back for other people's crap. And people's claim to fame and saying stuff is really stupid. I don't even give it time to thought. You don't have the answers. And I see that I'm not going back and forth for a simple conversation with people. I don't have the time. Some possibly like, am I mad right now? I'm not even mad. Like anything, I'm like, what the heck? I've been on this game till like 10:30. Now I'm going to sleep. Right now, I do not feel like going to sleep. Someone possibly like, it seems like a rambling stream. I don't really think it's a rambling stream or a stream. I'm not screaming. I'm not hollering. I'm not getting a point. Like I'm trying to get a point across. But a lot of stuff when I think about just the course of my life, a lot of people have lied. A lot of crazy stuff. And the simple version of something is to just go and act like nothing happened, and just go and we have something for this, and to go from there. Other than the fact that I've been in crazy stuff within the last, hell, I'll put up in crazy stuff the last like really the last 10 years. I was in something crazy each year. They're just lying. Someone probably like, am I mad now? I'm not even really mad. Getting the point across. I remember a guy, like 10 years ago, he said I stole something and tried to hold me captive. 10 years ago, no apologies, no nothing. No nothing. No apologies, no nothing. And then that's still crazy. To this day, that's still crazy. Fabricated story, fabricated everything. I didn't steal anything. Anything like that. It costs like what? Stuff that I bought was literally like what? $5 most. Like going in there and getting singled out to steal something as if I stole something. That doesn't make any sense. And then I think a lot of stuff is false apologies too. That's another thing I'm just kind of over false apologies and pulling the bag for stupid stuff. And then, like I said, everyone wants to go and try to explain. You got to get over that. You got to get over that. What is that? It's maladaptive strategies. And then idiots saying what you can say and what you can't say. It's just crazy. And that's alarming. It's alarming. I'm not going to get into that. Last I'm saying is generally general. And in a few days, I'll deal with some people. And I'll go and be honest with some people. So I'm going to say. If I think about this year's been a shit year. To be completely honest with you, a shit year. Some of the stuff I do with me, I really don't know. Another thing I'm not a fan of is people prescribing stuff. Then another thing too, like I was going to say it, like here recently I got like assaulted and some other stuff happened, and the only thing about it is that people didn't do what they needed to do, and then people are lying about it. And I'm getting told something that I just have to move on or get past it, but these people literally charge money for something that did not really even, and I still stand by what these people did was criminal. I still 100% believe what these people did is criminal. That's why people have lawsuits against this place, but I'm not about to go in further detail. That's all I'm gonna say. It's crazy. Ain't nobody up in this mug in this game. Like I said, I'm not really mad. I'm like, there's no point. People want you to see certain stuff, and you have the right not to want to see it. It's not critical. It's not anything. I just sorry to break it to people. I just laugh at stupid stuff now because a lot of stuff people say is stupid. For the most part, it is stupid. And the more I start to think about these jobs and people trying to overcompensate for a job, and say a job is a job, and people, I'm kind of done with people and jobs and their leadership. Leadership doesn't exist. You want to talk about budget, you want to talk about budget cuts, you want to talk about being surplus, all this type of crap and foolishness. What's the point? Then I'm just be vague. I'm gonna dance around a lot of stuff. I'm not talking about anything with jewelry, watches today. I'm just talking about my personal life. Is it jacked up? Not really. I don't think. But people stuff doesn't stink or certain stuff's not rotten. I don't think a lot of stuff's rotten. A lot of stuff ain't got nothing to do with me. It don't. In order to position certain stuff in there, people want to go and prescribe stuff, and I'm not really rocking with that like that, unless you get a complete and full answer of why. Telling someone they're depressed is not. I'm not really depressed. Like that doesn't make any sense. Wow. Someone really blew it up. Great. Don't need anything from there, actually. And two, the more I start thinking about it, people try to go and make certain stuff into, I guess, a bigger problem. Like, let's just start to think about, if I think about a job, I'm gonna be a little bit loud now. not too loud. If I think about a culture where, let's just say, I'll be vague. I'll be working with people in like a job setting, right? And people would be going on dates with Black Ted Bundys and all types of crazy stuff, going to the bar, talking about they're watching people. Saying they go to all this type of stuff, talking about going to the bar, hanging out with people. You work, please don't hang out with people that you work out with or whatnot, unless they cool to a certain extent. But even still, when you deal about like a culture or a corporate climate, certain stuff is just weird. You need to call it out for what it is. It was just weird. That's not doing antisocial. If someone is talking about going and drinking and doing all this type of crazy stuff within a certain time frame of hours, like for some people, it's normal to drink 2 beers or whatnot within a time frame. Like that's not normal. Or like 2 beers, and you know these people drink all weekend. They're functional alcoholics, and it depends on the setting or whatnot. You have to be on your P's and Q's at all times. And there's certain stuff that I know personally in my last thing that I know people were drinking or people talking about drinking, talking about inappropriate subject matters, and they were not on their P's and Q's, and as a result, kids and stuff got hurt. Or whatnot. Not nothing crazy, but like you do certain stuff, and like, let's say you work at a place, and let's say you have a duty or responsibility, rather, for a healthy and safe environment for people to go and work out, and you have, let's say, a leak. I noticed certain things and certain stuff, and the crazy thing about when stuff was presented, it was never really made to a forefront. It was more getting passed off, and people acting like I wasn't doing my job, but realistically, I was doing my job, and even still after, certain stuff is bad. That's all I'm going to say. It's just bad. I just realized I'm like honestly speaking, I'm not living in the U.S. that much longer. I'm just not. If I could have a plane ticket today to Europe or something like that and a decent job, I'd be gone. I'd be gone in a heartbeat. But yeah, I disagree strong with certain stuff. And then also power change or whatnot. Like people talk about comfort zone. Comfort zone doesn't exist. I hate to break it to people. The comfort zone It's never existed. People are just saying how far they're willing to take things. And what I mean by what I said, people are saying how far they're willing to take things. Or is there any maladaptive programming that you can get along with? You don't bat an eye at. Now, with me, I'm not really with anything without my comfort zone. I'm not for it. I'm not going with it. I'm not agreeing to it. That's just what it is. People say certain stuff, so it's basically for certain people's benefit. It's not. I think about certain stuff. I don't think the stuff is funny at all. When I think about a lot of stuff, I really don't want to be bothered with it at all. Don't want to be bothered with it. Another thing too, people don't have the answers. People say people's communication is terrible, or developmental delays, or it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And then all this stupid crap people talking about nowadays. What's even real nowadays? I'm not talking about fake news or anything like that, but what's even real nowadays? You ever feel like you're pretty much living a false reality? Wow, Curtis. Yeah, a lot of stuff is stupid to me. It's pointless. I don't know people talking about people not at tip top of their A game. That's a lie. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're not top of your A game. If you're the person talking, or people talking about people wet behind the ears, no. That always make me mad. This makes me just start laughing. The person's really an idiot. Once people start to say certain stuff like that, it just really shows. So possibly like I'm watching too much of these influence people and whatnot. I'm not. This just stuff from my life experience. Like I said, the last 10 years to me have been great, but they've been bad. But like the last 6 years, 7 years, 10 years been bad. It's not coming from a financial perspective. I mean, end of the day, stuff people and situations are weird and terrible. Like even if you go outside, like people they always try to justify. Well, you can't live life like that. You can't live life like that. But life, stuff is retarded. That's all I want to say. Stuff is retarded. And the more I start thinking about certain stuff and the time frame, it don't make sense. And one thing I'm still thinking about too, a lot of stuff's unprofessional. When I hear people talking about they're senior, honestly, not necessarily senior, but with any type of job, position, or opening, I feel like you can have friends at the job, yes. A lot of stuff is not real. Everything that you see is not real. A conversation, a handshake, it's not real. And the crazy thing is that one thing I just start laughing about is people say stupid stuff all the time, and then they like you can't say anything. You can't say anything. No, I mean anything. Even if you're right, you can't say anything. If I was on a podcast, I'm gonna go on the podcast sometime. I'm gonna start explaining stuff. I'm not really too impressed with a lot of people. I'm just not. And I hope a lot of people not really. I'm not really tripping off people. I'm not. I was watching this black guy, this dude. He got fired. He got fired for what you call it. Not nothing crazy. His manager had done something crazy. He was depressed. I don't know what happened. I can't really speak on his situation. But he had, done his job and all this type of stuff and whole nine. And he had a route. He was working for Pepsi. He got like fired or something like that. And long story short, he had to basically come in. His boss lied or something like that, something weird. Then turn around, the numbers didn't add up, or the odometer, or the order. It turns out the person was an idiot. Just normal work stuff. Well, not normal work stuff. Ain't nothing normal about what people doing. But as soon as we go and do something, you say something, or you just, like, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm not really too attached to people, and they never change. I really have an apathy for really caring certain times. All right. Well, back to what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, jobs to a large group of extent don't make sense, and it's crazy. Anything about paid people, I'm not watching videos or whatnot about people working or whatnot. People can't afford a home. The average mean people are laying off, let's say, thousands of employees or workers. When I think about workers or employees or whatnot too, and jobs are considered, all this stuff is crap. Notice how all the corporations and people, they're everything to do with talking about a few things. And what I mean by that is STEM. There's only been like one man that I've ever met in my entire life that was really had his head on well, but still, I can definitely tell he's not part of the problem, but he's been shielded from the bull of corporate life or pretty much just life. It's not even being people. People don't make decisions off reality. They don't, and that's kind of my problem. Like if we're talking about a job or we're talking about line of work or there's a lot of stuff I'm just not going for. I don't really like talking to people. People talk about certain stuff. I'd rather work in the back, work in the backgrounds, doing a lot of work. I'm making sure people getting heard, whatnot. I'm doing what I need to do. Which I mean, I'm pretty much good at anything I do. But I'm not one of those people who cap artists. Like I've been watching a lot of stuff like these people on like I know people say Vlad TV is canceled, but Vlad TV has a platform, and I don't think a lot of people go on Vlad TV is lying. They got stories upon stories upon stories about certain stuff. What's happening in the forefront and the background, they never got their side of the story. And had they had certain parameters and had a lawyer, they probably would have been better off or in a bad situation. And like I don't know, but let me go back. What I'm saying, tie stuff back together with such good jobs in life. How do you win life? Number one, stick to a plan. You know, always have a pivot move. One thing about I'm glad I did not get a degree in I'm glad I didn't get what you call it. What was I about to say? Lost my train of thought for a second. I'm glad I didn't get a degree in like computer science. Like that's a scam. Like if someone got a PhD in computer science right now, realistically speaking, they're supposed to make 80K or comps. You're supposed to get comps. See, a lot of stuff people be saying I don't know what I'm talking about, but when I actually hear me talk, they start to know like, hey, this guy kind of makes sense. Comps. You're supposed to get all these type of stuff. Well, the problem is really with the companies and stuff like that is people can't afford their end of the bargain. So, at the end of the day, whose fault is it? And then people that go back and say how jacked up certain stuff is, it's not about that. It's about how piss poor leadership goes and shows up and tries to masquerade and try to go and rehash and focus on, how can I say, remolding and making something more, you know, cleaned up. And at all the times, there's no, like, helping hand, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion. If something's just jacked up beyond all problems or whatnot, certain stuff shouldn't be out there. And like another thing I'm still thinking about too is just like what these jobs. So let's say someone was a senior Substack developer for like any company, any company. Unless you're at like I'm not going to say these companies' names. I'm not, again, a lot of companies they're pretty good. I'll put it that way. But I could be wrong about certain stuff. A lot of people like Microsoft. That's the one I can talk about. That's current. Microsoft laid off what 9,000 employees the other day. 9,000. We have people dying every day. We got people not getting Medicaid. We are getting people hurt by jobs and injured or whatnot. We have insurance denying claims. We have people who are terrible with paperwork. We have departments, certain stuff being minuscule or reduced to certain stuff people's file, and their record keeping is terrible. And now we're living a deluded and, I said, a false reality, and where in which certain stuff goes and happens within a certain time frame. Like we're talking about, I'm not talking about, Elon Musk and Doge per se, but I'm just talking about a lot of stuff. You ever heard of like New York City, what New York City doing with the tolls, and then also the dumbass. Yeah, boy. But yeah, like I said, like people, they'll be like, the economy is terrible, economists, or the globalization of, just the market has changed. That's a bunch of hogwash and a bunch of lies told to you to clean up economic instability caused by, guess what, corporate greed, delusional behavior, lack of corporate insight about how real world dollars are getting spent or cost saving. A lot of stuff's not cost saving. If you tell me that that by people getting insulin, let's just say certain stuff, the long and short of healthcare is shacked up, the system is broken. Like, you mean to tell me in today's world that I have to decide between healthcare, medicine, food, a job, and if I have a job within a certain time frame or certain stuff and I reach a certain limit, guess what? I'm going to lose my benefits. I'm going to lose, people lose a lot of stuff. because their income. It doesn't even have to be that much. You have some form of dependence or certain stuff like that, even though you still have this type of stuff, you're losing. So, end of the day, I'm not really talking about too much. I mean, but yeah, like I'm saying, a lot of stuff is bad. Like I've been watching this lady who sort of, kind of, a little bit on and off. She's been unemployed for like, I want to say around like 5 months now. Yeah, coming up on 5 months, and she was like a developer for one of those companies in Silicon Valley. She was getting $130,000 remote Bay Area, had her own house, can't afford her own mortgage now. She got laid off, whatnot, and I feel like that was crazy. Like, that was crazy. I said, like, number one, never get too attached to anything. That's rule number one. Never be a consumer. Number one. That's another thing. Never be a consumer. Wherein a lot of stuff is good. Ooh. So, but yeah, like I'm saying, with a lot of stuff, man, it's bad. And can you imagine this day and age you get sick? You know, somebody might die. A lot of people might die. Really. It's crazy. The numbers game, the waiting game, the guessing game, the sit and duck game. I'm not going to even go there. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, what's going on. And not in a laughing, joking manner. A lot of stuff stupid. And then another thing I'm still thinking about, it doesn't make any sense. A lot of stuff, it doesn't. I blew your head smooth off. It's a Pinky said it Friday. Oh, keep building. Keep building. I like the way you do that right there, right there. I like the way you do that right there, right there. Yeah. Wow, loss, but that was a good one. I had no health. I held my own at that hunting rifle. Hunting rifle's alright. Looking back at certain stuff, I'd be thinking about it. What time is it now? Great. Almost time to go to bed, but I got a few more gems. A lot of stuff's not rambling, but it's not. I know people talk about the president's responsible for every American. I don't, honestly speaking, I don't think the president's responsible for Jack. Regardless, whoever it is, stuff's gonna be jacked up regardless. But again, I'm not trying to get too political here. Again, my political affiliation is, guess what? Independent. About voting. Voting is important, but voting is stupid. Oh Lord. There's another thing I'm still thinking about. Don't make any sense. That's how bad things are. And I'm still trying to think about what people are saying. People are depressed. How does someone describe someone as depressed? Just making sense. I'll watch some videos. That's what I'm gonna do. No one even came here. I'm gonna leave this game. This game's ass. You accident breaking the rules and get you banned from voice chat. What is this? Possibly got played with a long time ago. Zix. 6 feet. I'm good, dog. I'm good. I can't wait for the next 3 days, man. I have a lot to say. A lot of stuff is flying and a bunch of crap. Well, I'm in stream, guys. I'm retired. Peace.